Yo, what's good? Stu here, Stu TV. I cover all things blockchain, metaverse, crypto, NFTs, all that good stuff. I just started another series. Just gonna be getting into some Web3 related content. Just going around and just covering the latest, greatest things going on in the Web3 space. But yeah, let's get into it. So just looking in the Fractal Bitcoin, I know that's just an upcoming technology for scaling solution, and just looking into this makes it just more interesting. Actually have some framework and understanding of the technology in terms of like the direction versus other solutions. Cause I believe like Bitcoin is at a point where it's just constantly reinventing itself. There's so many different mechanisms for work on how it's going to be in relation and compatibility. And just specifically with Fractal Bitcoin, on how it's going to be more so geared towards as an extension onto the particular network encoded in the proof of work with SHA-256 in terms of that mechanism and matching that on mass to a micro level and being able to track that through a sustainable process. These different layers begin to get built out. Let's actually read into like Fractal Bitcoin. Fractal Bitcoin is the only Bitcoin scaling solution that uses that Bitcoin core node itself to recursively scale unlimited layers on top of the world's most secure and held blockchains. As builders in the Bitcoin space ourselves, we are painfully aware of the limitations of the current tool sets available to deploy large-scale applications on Bitcoin. Fractal Bitcoin was created to solve this need for everyone who wants to build and scale mass adoption on Bitcoin itself. Our goal is to extend Bitcoin, not to supply it. Our ethos are focused on expanding the native capabilities of Bitcoin right down to the core implementation of the Bitcoin core software. So that's very interesting, even looking into that, having the Fractal Bitcoin and just solving like different scaling solutions, because that's the biggest thing within Bitcoin or any blockchain is scalability, speed, and transaction fees. How the network is congested now, you have to buy whatever amount in terms like an NFT marketplace. If you want to get a particular token, you have to buy a fixed amount and a fixed ratio. It's not like a liquidity pool where you can draw in and out accesses of money based on whatever your tolerance and how much you're willing to buy up. You have to buy that full share and that full amount, so that not only turns off people from actually wanting to get in because they might want to get in a certain dollar value, but also then you're not really be able to have the process to where you can be able to jump in to like particular tokens just based on that process because of how the infrastructure is set up. Even with the scalability, the cost, and then the speed, so do have to factor in the speed as well, because the speed is going to come in with a process to where transactions on the network, different block times, the transactions need to be seamless. Not many people want to wait for a transaction to go in the slow process. They might be concerned of the funds really getting there. Do they have a bad experience? So that kind of turns off new users from wanting to get into this different layer. So it's very interesting to see how Fractal Bitcoin evolves and grows as we go forward. But let's read some more of this. Build on Fractal. Fractal is the first instance of virtualization methodology applied to the Bitcoin world. Fractal gradually extends the Bitcoin blockchain into a scalable computing system without breaking consistency with the Bitcoin main chain. With the strong tooling and support, building on Fractal is straightforward. So we can just look into some of the latest news. They have a test beta, so it's just out now. So yeah, once again, guys, like this is not financial advice or anything, but a lot of these different features, different networks being built on Bitcoin, there's a lot to just still be discovered as Bitcoin truly is reinventing itself. And I used to hear that in the terms of stuff was being built. I didn't really think in terms of like the long-term sustainable futures Bitcoin, but now that I see how much utility, how much use case that people are actually building the platform, and then also the strong narrative and how it's backed up by many just different companies or central organizations or just different that's in the third, I'm interested in Bitcoin growing and evolving as an ecosystem 5 to 10 years out, just looking into these different technologies. But let's look at some of the docs. So we could just click on this different docs article. I know we have the about page. Fractal Bitcoin is the only Bitcoin scaling solution that uses Bitcoin core code itself to recursively scale unlimited layers on top of the world's most secure and held blockchains. So this is the about page. They just show us this native recursive scaling of the Bitcoin code itself. They have block faster confirmation times, 30 seconds or less. So that's going to be very important, being able to have users be attracted, because it's all about speed, scalability, like transaction fees. Those are the biggest things that's going to really pull in users, different form of tech. And whether you define it as a roll up or a fork or just a L2 solution, just depending on that, there's many different variables. I'm just seeing this as it comes and just being able to track the developments as we go forward. But it has dynamic scaling. On-chain interactions can scale up and down as demand changes, as a dynamic block space. Load balancer consistency due to each layer self-replicating with its main chain. And additionally, due to these consistency across layer assets can be directly transferred layer to another without the need for additional relays. So it's just a lot that to be able to just get into. So they have the development resources page where you can just go and see what the Fractal Bitcoin has, API, wallet support. So just even with this breakdown, the biggest thing that I would say with Fractal Bitcoin is Fractal Bitcoin will encourage accessibility. Just being able to take this technology and let's say it was built up to execution, it was actually done to a proper manner where people can functionality and have transaction and use, then you could use it for everyday use and have the ability to be able to use Bitcoin, but at a different price tier to where you might be able to use lower amounts to where you could buy with a particular, you could buy some coffee because it matches the same proof of work mechanism, so you could transfer that down to micro levels so they could buy a coffee for $5 and buy it with Bitcoin instead of being able to buy on a centralized exchange. Yes, you could take that same $5, but depending on the congestion of the network, how many transactions is going through, that same $5 purchase can also charge you $5 in transaction fees that you would have to go through to be able to get that said coffee. But being able to pair that with a fractional asset, not only the benefit and use out of Bitcoin, but also be able to get the efficiency out of the different rate at a more affordable entry for users coming in to this particular asset, and being able to map that out with everyday use of the platform to where they have a more fundamental understanding moving through this particular ecosystem and using this technology as an extension versus, you know, other different scaling solutions. So it is very interesting how different things are built out. It also is backed up by the Unisat team within Uniwallet. So just showing you their Twitter, Unisat is a Bitcoin service provider, so it's a popular wallet on Bitcoin. You'll be able to just get different assets. The team that's behind developing fractional Bitcoins, different solutions that's going to ultimately scale the Bitcoin network to more accessibility and more adoption rates. A lot of people think it's a high barrier to entry. They don't really understand the tech, the representation has from a store of value, and now shifting to having different assets and different things being built on Bitcoin. This is the particular wallet backing that up, picked up by the Unisat team, and then also just everything they're building in their particular ecosystem. But also just want to go over to the next thing, and I'm just going over Uniworlds. Uniworlds, a particular Bitcoin metaverse, actual direct relation built on top of Fractal Bitcoin within the app. And let's just actually look into it. Uniworlds gamifies Web3, enhancing asset liquidity and practical applications. It also helps Web2 gaming projects transition to the chain, offering comprehensive acceleration services. It supports creators publishing 3D games without coding, offers comprehensive tools and services. Uniworlds promotes a co-creation community where members develop content together. So it just offers like NFTs, including .domains for personalized. So I believe you can go on Magic Eden. They have some keys and some NFTs that you can go be able to bring up and everything. I had to drop that link in the description. But let's look at the app. The Uniworlds app is designed for mobile and web access, immersed into the virtual 3D blockchain for worlds gaming, socializing, and asset management. It provides interactive entertainment and enables the creation of on-chain assets within the Fractal Bitcoin ecosystem, aimed at enhancing users. So it seems like it has like a lot built with this particular metaverse. It definitely reminds me of Bitmaps with that popped off with that particular ecosystem and BRC20s and a lot of different things that's being built out. So it definitely reminds me of that in particular. The thing that interests me is having fractional assets within a particular metaverse. Instead of having that same said metaverse cost you at the buy in full at $1,000, could you take that same $1,000 and buy a percentage for $100, or just different assets and processes? So it has all the different partnerships backed up by Unisat and Fractal. Like I said before, you can check out the different listings. They got got them on Magic Eden, where you could just go buy. And you can go see. We'll see if we could just pull up the Twitter. Uniworlds is a 3D and AI autonomous world asset creation platform on Bitcoin. It has the Telegram. It's building the first application on Bitcoin. Even putting it in with AI, artificial intelligence, that's very interesting. So Uniworlds is proud to announce an innovative partnership with Infinity Labs. I'm going to call it that. Trailblazing a decentralized AIGC, artificial intelligence generated content infrastructure leveraging the Bitcoin Layer 2 network. This collaboration is set to transfer the Bitcoin ecosystem by integrating advanced Web3 AI tools, enhancing asset utilization, and amplifying yield capabilities for all users. We're partnering to unlock AI's full potential within the Bitcoin ecosystem. Get ready for enhanced asset with cutting-edge Web3 AI tools. The future is decentralized, intelligent, and now. So it just has different partnerships. It shows ambassadors. That's ambassadors for the program, this particular metaverse, and just how different things are being built out. And that's just the next evolution utility for the different layers, because you see blockchain, all these different blockchains being built on different scaling solutions. How is that going to be incorporated and leveraged with AI? Blockchain can be integrated together, and what's going to be the use, and what does that look like on the particular platform? So it's a lot to be interpreted. There's a lot to be discovered in this space, and there's just still so much more room to cover. But just going over Uniworlds, and we can actually see, we could go to the docs page. Let's actually look into the docs page. So this represents a magnificent journey beginning with domains, using editors to build virtual spaces and crafting forms of virtual self-existence, achieving permanent on-chain records. So let's look into this a little bit more. Uniworlds is a 3D sovereign personal content creation platform that fully empowers individuals to construct their own virtual spaces on the Bitcoin network through a 3D creation image. Leveraging the high performance and security of Fractal Bitcoin Layer 2 network, along with the decentralized community governments, it motivates more individuals to participate in 3D content creation and enables a greater number of super individuals to establish irreplaceable on-chain identities in virtual spaces, safeguarding against the confusion of human identity in the era of artificial intelligence. We see this as a new wave of the 3D CryptoPunk self-expression, and it aims to discuss why Uniworlds editors, domains, and virtual spaces, modules, and co-creation communities among a series of on-chain products to realize the 3D punk. So it's a lot in there breaking that down, but just having a 3D version, being able to have super individuals or just people creating different 3D assets, visual assets to be on Bitcoin, and actually participating in that particular network through a metaverse platform, and a lot of different things to be interpreted. So I'm even very curious in terms of what exactly does that look like, because this is the next evolution in Web3, I believe, is just having more of a self-immersive experience with these different metaverses, because you hear about them being built out, but there's so much left to be interpretation, is identifying what exactly does that look like and how can you scale that particular idea. But look over the overview. I'm not going to read all of this, but we're going to just look into Uniworlds is the AI powered autonomous world asset creation platform based on Fractal Bitcoin. This 3D and AI creation engine, autonomous 3D spaces, asset insurance and trading markets, and incentive mechanisms. Uniworld serves as a bridge for both Web3 and Web2 projects, enabling them to craft blockchain interactive applications and assets with ease. So just even reading that, one thing that comes to mind is definitely what exactly does that look like, and how would that be able to scale different ideas, and then what also assets are incorporated and available, and what assets can actually be incorporated from a 3D process and be able to fosterize this economic community metaverse environment. Cybernetic, assets, avatars, 3D avatars, being able to craft just different things within AI, autonomous. How can you be able to brand that and leverage that in IP? There's so many different questions and variables, just thinking as far as these fractionalized Uniworlds, and then also how you're going to leverage and benefit off them just reading through this particular ecosystem. So they had the marketplaces. The Uniworld Virtual Asset Marketplace offers a platform for users to buy and sell and trade Uniworlds, virtual mods, items, assets, and these can code from spaces, apparel, accessories and domains. So yeah, being able to have apparel, access, domains, and more, allowing users to personalize their characters. So that's going to allow and foster more people to be able to get deeper into these ecosystems, build out different infrastructure, and then also just have them have ties into that particular ecosystem and what they built, especially if they find different ways to capitalize and leverage off of it, come together and create like different worlds, essentially come out with unique, crazy, abstract, unorthodox, outside the box concepts, communities within this different asset protection world, and then also fractionalize it where it's affordable as far as Web 2 and Web 3 ecosystems coming together and being able to leverage tech, particular extensions in this metaverse ecosystem environment. So very interesting as far as what they got built out. But also last thing within Uniworlds, I know this is a mouthful, it's just a lot to be able to cover, but the last thing I want to cover is this, the Uniworlds. The Universe are the keys of what you want to be able to interact or get your first entry way into this, not financial advice. But let's look at the Uniworlds. Uniworlds domains adhere to the same protocols as .sats. So Uniworlds will empower .uniworld domains. Each domain corresponds to a 3D virtual space. Owning a domain means having sovereignty over this 3D space with the freedom to alter it within. In March, Uniworld underwent a Genesis minting event. All domains minted before block 835.405 have been included in the Uniworld's Genesis domain collection. NFT airdrops are closely associated with this collection. As the super individual portals into the virtual Bitcoin chain, we are opening test qualifications for virtual spaces to our inscribed users. Following, we will conduct various activities within the virtual space and welcome players to interact this experience. So it shows where it has like the .sats, and now you're going to be able to get .uniworlds depending on how much this technology is actually adopted in this particular sector of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Then you could be able to leverage and collect those .sats or .uniworlds and be able to have just different inscriptions. What does that look like? How much can I capitalize all of this? So it's a lot to be able to purchase. You could be able to buy and flip these particular assets depending on how this ecosystem is built out. But let's look into the keys. So you just have keys of destiny. But also, even with that, I want to go over and want to check out the keys. Since the days of Babylon, keys have been quintessential instruments to unlock the vaults of wealth and glory in the pre-modern era. Only monarchs' ability possessed enough treasury to necessitate safeguarding. As we ventured into this modern age, and particularly into the era of blockchain, keys have become our sole conditions in the digital realm of blockchain networks. Hence, on Uniworlds' roadmap, we have developed an in-house proprietary editor mindful of the blockchain visuals that are ripe for enhancement. We, as veterans from the Web 2 mobile gaming industry, have rapidly developed a mobilized team of 200 members to fast track production, drawing upon our experience within the mobile active user base exceeding 20 million in the mobile gaming market. We recognize traditional gaming engines and fall short addressing the nuances, challenges of rates, fees, and fluidity in the blockchain world. Particularly within the gaming ecosystem, only engine and editor designed specifically for the blockchain can fundamentally improve the gaming ecosystem, address the foundational challenges of a 3D and VR crypto world. So even looking into this, it definitely is a mouthful of a lot of different things that they're actually building out with this particular keys. Well, let's actually scroll down. Let's look for some specific utility in terms of within these particular assets. As such, Titan keys will endow with the most substantial government's on-chain delegation rights, including but not limited to airdrop shares, voting rights, and community benefits. So that's something that definitely a lot of people get a lot of attention on particular within Bitcoin ecosystems. If you hold particular Bitcoin assets, you do get airdrop shares. Is a particular token that gets launched. If it's a new expert in liquidity, then you get voting rights. So governor rights is a proposal that's being offered on these different scaling solutions on Bitcoin. Then you get access to mining rights. So scaling solutions on Bitcoin. Let's look into mining rights. The mining right crave for the Titans key envisioned to grow exponentially. We imagine a world where humans can work in virtual spaces with portable ease. The complexity of mining rigs replaced by the simplicity of a mobile gaming app. Thus, we will open up mining incentives across the Uniworlds ecosystem and trust in the aesthetics of the proof of work testament to a human endeavor. Creators should be incentivized and and interactors encourage the economic source for the on-chain proof-of-work mechanism. Even Web2 players can mine crypto assets through diligent interaction, but only Titan key holders will reap a substantial shares of these assets, including but not limited to the Uniworlds and Fractal Bitcoin on-chain rewards with a higher level of returns. So it seems like these keys are going to give you a lot of access within the game, or just within the particular app within this particular platform and technology of Fractal Bitcoin. So it seems like you're going to get governance rights and airdrops. You're going to be able to get access to mining rights in terms of just what that looks like. You're going to be able to get access to Premier, that it says Premier development resource tools. It has studio and app beta testing privileges, so you get early access into that. You have unique significance. The Titan key will display on the number of domains signifying passion invested in the Uniworlds. Just depending. So it's a lot to be offered with Uniworlds ecosystem. I'm gonna pay attention to this as we go forward. So it seems like they're offering like different utilities depending on being a early adopter or early embracer or trailblazer of this specific technology, being able to get access to resources, airdrops, early access to beta testings, being able to have governance proposals in terms of the direction of where this particular technology in this metaverse ecosystem is being built out. So that's very interesting as far as that particular breakdown on Uniworlds and just all it has to offer just going forward in particular tech. That's something I'll be keeping my eye on. Let's go on next. We can actually look into Taiwan and emerges as Asia in the Web3. So Taiwan, we're going to actually look into Taiwan as far as just the latest developments and emerges in the Web3. So we're going to actually look into this particular article. So let's read. Taiwan, July 16th, a landmark technology summit powered by Block Tempo will focus on blockchain, AI, and the future of governance. The summit is set to take place from August 6th through 8th. The exhibition center will host several major conferences, including Web3 GameCon, the premier Web3 gaming hosted by Giga, the largest TUM summit of the summer, where participants were engaged in critical discussions such as decentralized society, digital democracy, and the future of distributed power. One has been long at the forefront of technology discoveries. NVIDIA CEO described the vibrant island as one of the most important places, bringing the center of AI and computing revolution and technology advances bolstered by the collaborative policy for Web3 builders. 2023, stablecoin issue a circle partner with Taiwan Family Mart and Bito Group in introducing points to crypto service, democratizing access to cryptocurrencies. So it seems like they're just going to have just a lot going on at this particular event, and like Asia being able to jump on just different markets, because you got to think also with just all the different impactful just global markets or how this impacts. It is interesting just all the particular names that's actually going to show up to this particular event. You have people from Ton, you have Vitalik coming in from Ethereum, just a lot of different names just actually stand out, and just a lot of different names just stand out. Different countries taking the lead on Bitcoin and embracing this new technology, and what does that look like, the totality as far as different developments going on in Web3. So this is definitely interesting. Asia is definitely a market that's pushing forward and developing with the innovations of the new tech, and then incorporating AI and a lot of these different other processes incorporated with blockchain. That's why you can see the concept is within smart cities, even with all these different technologies being built out. And what does that actually look like in hindsight? What does that actually look like with these ecosystems developing and going forward? If you're out there in Asia, definitely go pull up. A lot of speakers going to be at the event and just going forward. And how does that look evolving going forward for the Web3 space? Ethereum Labs partners with Immutable to build the next gen Web3 Immutable Rising 2. Or I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. A leader in the Web3 gaming ecosystem is thrilled to announce a partnership with Immutable, the preferred developer platform for building and scaling Web3 games on Ethereum. This strategic collaboration will see highly anticipated Immortal Rising 2 built on Immutable, bringing unparalleled scalability, security, and accessibility to Web3 gaming. So Immortal 2 Rise is a sequence acclaim for Immortal Rising franchises, which garnered over 2 million downloads and became the leading game in simulation genre for 8 months upon launch. Leveraging Immutable's advanced technology, Planetarium Labs aims to enhance gaming experience with faster transaction speeds, zero gas fees, and robust security. We're excited to join forces with Immutable to build Immutable Rising 2 as it pioneers in this space. Planetarium Labs is dedicated to pushing forward the boundaries of what's possible in Web3 gaming and the ecosystem. So just having these different big partners just coming in, partnering with these different blockchain ecosystems. But I will say, just being able to have this different partnership, being able to leverage from both sides, one, the exposures for different funds and being able to have a funding to enhance these different technologies or scale these different technologies, I will say, to have better games and more playable games with a unique user experience, because you would imagine coding on these particular blockchains with these different gaming networks, you get a very intricate process as far as the complexities to be able to build on top of these Web3 ecosystems and be able to make it more efficient and more accessible in terms of attracting a wider user base, particular partnership. So just seeing how this different partnership evolves, how it grows within funding, exposure, marketing, because it's not just having a great game, but how you're going to market, how you're going to scale that particular game, how you're going to bring that to a Web2 audience. It's so many levels of marketing to be able to you market and present that particular idea. And then not only does it have to be great, it has to be scalable, and users have to actually want to be able to interact and play on that particular ecosystem and network, and attracting that on so many levels down. So we can be able to see how this particular partnership will play out, and we'll see how it goes forward. But actually, let's get into some upcoming mints. Going over the first one in Jungle Juice Playground Web3 mobile ecosystem is backed up by Delphi Digital and Hive Framework. So it just shows you, just like the Twitter, just looking into this particular project built on the Solana ecosystem. So I know Solana does with a lot of gaming infrastructure, a lot of different platforms just being built out on the Solana blockchain. So it just shows that collabs is out. So people are just getting into the Discord, they're just jumping into the server. A lot of activity getting into there. People are in just particular voice chats. Let's actually read some of this. We're psyched to announce that we're building on Solana. Our first game for the win has just entered development phase and is getting ready for global launch at the end of the year. We can't wait to show what we've been cooking and push forward for the Web3 meta. So it just shows, and you can actually just look into the particular article. Mobile shooter game for the win will launch on Solana. Crypto studio Jungle announced that it will build the blockchain elements for the first-person shooter game for the win on the Solana. Crypto gaming startup Jungle announced Wednesday that is developing its new mobile first-person shooter game for the win on the Solana blockchain. The firm exclusively shared. For the Win is a speedy team-based hero currently in the alpha testing in South America, where it's attracted over 100,000 downloads in its first month of availability. Jungle plans to utilize Solana blockchain to implement features that reward players based on their game performance, aiming to incentivize user acquisition and to benefit power users. So it just shows like a different screenshot. Jungle said is also interested in launching for the win on the next Solana smartphone, tentatively calling it Chapter 2, which is billed as a lower cost successor to last year's Solana's Sega handset, is due for release in 2025. The team announced for $6 million in funding in early 2003, led by Ventures Framework within the participation of Delphi 32-bit. There's a lot of different other partnerships. So it just shows the particular assets within this particular game, different partnerships, and just being able to attack from a mobile standpoint. So I believe attacking the mobile industry in the particular gaming ecosystem versus desktop or console might be more of a more realistic play for Web3 to tap into that particular ecosystem or pivot in that direction. So looking at this particular game built on the Solana blockchain, just the first impressions. So it sees the shooting, shows the 1,000, shows the XP, the different maps where you can go, the characters. So you could be able to shoot guns, the pistol. So I would imagine that the pinnacle would be like more of a Call of Duty-esque mobile game with so many users being able to expand reach and being able to have a targeted user bases all over the world, because everybody has a smartphone for Apple, Android, whatever you identify with, and just having these approved on different platforms. So the gameplay kind of, would have to be improved, just different versions, because obviously, the fluidity and the jankiness of the particular game flow and gameplay can be able to turn off or be able to attract users depending on how that's presented. So I would imagine just working on just different process and gamification throughout the process. to overall enhance as like different versions be able to get developed, just mapping out this particular gaming ecosystem. But it looks interesting. Keep your eye on Jungle Up3 mobile gaming ecosystem. The next one, just looking into Gomble Games, a fresh new adventure live now on Treasure Hunt, backed by Binance Labs, and dive into the G experience. So Gomble Games is something that's really hot. Being on the Binance ecosystem, you be able to just look and see what's actually looking to their link tree. So just looking into the Gomble vision paper, we're going to actually just read a little bit of this. Through the vision paper, we aim to outline our approach on creating an ecosystem that maximizes the core enjoyment of games through a GX gaming experience. The GX that Gomble pursues is a term that encompasses not only gaming experience, but also internal and external elements beyond games. Experiencing the adrenaline rush, discovering the ultimate loot of World of Warcraft, outplaying the opponent in tight game of Valorant, and pulling an all-nighter. A new score in Guardianscapes are unparalleled with gaming experiences that capture the true essence of gaming. The core of GX lies primarily in the following three elements: dynamic chains, reversal opportunity, simplicity. Dynamic chains, I cannot pronounce that word, but for immersive games, playing Minesweeper with identical mind distributions or StarCraft against a static AI world will lead to boredom only after a few games. In contrast, playing golf offers unique experiences per shot, each dynamic with ever-changing external factors such as wind, terrain, weather conditions at moment of every gameplay. We must still instill a sense of change to create excitement and anticipation of what lies ahead. So it has reversal. In the realm of sports, the greatest competitors are often characterized by unexpected turnarounds, wherein the team initially trailing manages potential for the reversal, puts pressure on the winning team to remain their lead. So it just shows what's their team, what's actually looking to their team of mission. Our mission statement is to create a robust and agile growth framework that facilitates efficient mass production of various game out elements. To put it simply, to make fun games even more fun by leveraging blockchain technology. The foundational principle is that games first most need to be enjoyable. The issue with the past Web3 games, particularly with those represented by play-to-earn models, lies in creating games focused on external motivations, but attaching incentives to games that lack intrinsic enjoyment. We know the key to success is creating games that people find fun, and Gomble possesses the experience and expertise to create such games. Now, I always proceed with caution when I hear that, because a lot of games say, oh yeah, we're building a fun environment, but that is one highlighting point that a lot of games build in. They want to present more of an external validation in terms of bringing and onboarding users, but that's not really how the industry evolves. And the intrinsic enjoyment, a lot of players still will play games that they will enjoy for free just because they value the enjoyment and the experience of that game, but also paralleling that with blockchain technology, be able to pivot and target that, whether it's mobile through whatever platform, shows large potential for growth and opportunity. The blockchain spinoff of 100% of a well-established game studio. Gomble has Binance Labs, so it's backed up by a lot of different partnerships. So it's just going to have a sustainable economy. The increasing markets costs in gaming have led to successful commercialization, harms the intrinsic funds of drivers' games. Meanwhile, Gomble's Act maximizes the fun of games to encourage gamers engagement that can generate revenue based on the gamers' engagement to enhance profitability. So that's one thing that I like about blockchain, is it allows for gamers to also have an economy, not only with the intrinsic part, but being able to tie both worlds together, where you're being able to get monetized for a game that you thoroughly enjoy, and being able to have the connectivity of both of those processes. That's what's going to allow for this ecosystem to glow and flourish. But finding what is that gaming ecosystem, or what is those two intricacy processes look like when they're paired together. But let's look at the paired ecosystem. Having explored the vision of a platform, it also dwells into the philosophy components of such platform, enhancing gaming experience and beyond game elements. So it shows like some of the core dimensions. Let's look into the gamification. Short-term to mid rewards provide a sense of accomplishment, recognition without using a study application that gives badges or points for completing small stages. So being able to reward people within the gaming ecosystem as they level up. through airdrops, through different badges, through different utility incentives. So just being able to have those different tokenomics and conclusions, and they have economics. So let's look into economics. In the following sections, we will outline the performing underlying economic structures that operate and why this structure can adjust challenges that we identified going forward, both in Web 2 and Web 3. So we're going to scroll a little bit down. As we continually discussed earlier, the practice has not only diminished the enjoyment of games, but also led to gamers' attrition. Despite putting in more marketing efforts, the overall revenue decreases, resulting in a situation where marketing costs converge with the total revenue. So that just sees, as far as people think, oh, just put more marketing into the specific games and force it down your throat. Well, gaming is a particular ecosystem where the intrinsic value is always going to be a fundamental factor in terms of a lot of gamers coming into the ecosystem. Anything that's built on top of that is extra, and how you build it out is very up to interpretation, because nobody's really proven that transferring from a Web 2 perspective to Web 3 on a mass scale. And why would these bigger companies want to endorse something that is not proven when they necessarily don't have to? So being able to have the economics is going to be a very intricate process on how they delicately sew in between these two particular revenue streams. And I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like I know every single thing about this particular ecosystem and game, but it's just something that you hear. The main challenge observed in Web3 games is sustainability. Web3 games mainly revolve around preemptively extracting for future value in forms of tokens and redistributing as a prize pool or other play-to-earn formats. With limited token utility, the users are encouraged to sell obtained tokens rather than to hold on their prizes. Addressing these challenges requires making holding the token attractive with methods such as staking and incorporating deflationary features. So I like that they have deflationary features, because you have to have something to offset the use case of the token. Otherwise, when the token reaches a certain threshold or dollar amount in price, then holders of that said token, depending on how they position and when they bought early, they're going to be more motivated to sell at that point because they recoup their investment or what they feel like they initially put in. So you have to build that sustainable model out. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. So that's Gombles for you to check out your site. You can be able to see all the different investors and how they're partnered with. They have just different airdrops. So that's just one thing that you want to pay attention to. Keep track of their Twitter, but Gombles is one to pay attention to. Next one, just going on to Canna Sapiens. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but the weed you didn't pull, you can now ignore, setting the creative and cannabis realms ablaze, minting this summer on Solana. So you can just see they're pretty recent with the different tweets that you can look into. Have different partnerships with real world assets. They'll have store acquisition, NFT license. So I would imagine you could be able to license your IP. So it's a very project. They're showing you just different forms of utility as far as what they could do with their particular holders. We can also just check out the website. It just shows you the website. We're weed people building a weed brand. We're creators building a creative platform, building in the unique potential of the Web3 community. So it just shows the key partners, Eclipse, the Plague, key Web2 partners. It just has like a full website coming soon. So you can even see just different aspects on how this particular platform and ecosystem is going to be built out. So they have a website, there's the X platform, and the Discord. You can see with the recent announcements, just looking into the Discord. Let's read some of this. The past 6 months has been an incredible journey with you all. As we enter July, we want to address some frequently asked questions and share important updates. We aim to launch in early to mid-August. There are 2 main reasons for the delay. Pre-mint purchase of our first cannabis store. The founders had to act swiftly and decisively on a unique opportunity. We went with a potential interest in acquisition less than 3 weeks. To make this happen, we modularly shift our focus away from mint preparations. It was a conscious decision, but it felt best to demonstrate to the community we're serious and we mean business. So it has partnership negotiations, and they have just different whitelist breakdowns, whether you get OG or just a particular whitelist. We're excited for another preview of our PFPs. The collection is now super close to being finalized as we gear up for our mint in several weeks. It has RWA, utility and vision. Revenue sharing. We plan to share financial benefits with our holders and offer a clear investment opportunity during the new Canna Sapiens shop opening and product line developments. Achieving this will require time and patience from our community. In the near future, they'll have NIP license agreements. We'll be licensing the Canna Sapiens PFP for our use in our product designs, IRL marketing, and content. So you'll have a token. So they'll have just different aspects as far as utility to the holders and how they're going to be built out. showing the different phases of the mint. It just shows where that particular location is going to be located, the docs of the particular founders. So just the interesting with that particular project and how that different ecosystem is going to be built out on the Solana ecosystem and the Solana chain. Scribbles, limited edition Genesis collection by OXVM. BTC market needing a rush. XVM Scribbles has just landed on Telegram with our tap to earn. All it takes is one finger. Our meme contest ends tomorrow, so looks like you just be able to tap that and you start just earning points. You earn points to a particular airdrop or however it be able to fund through this particular Telegram tie within the BTC ecosystem. Let's look at the Twitter. It seems like it's pretty active. Will you become a Scribbles meme creator? Limited spots to our Discord ambassadors. You unlock the gateway to unlock special utilities, including whitelists and XVM rewards. Add details in the Discord. So it just shows like the different layers as far as that. And then we are turbocharging Bitcoin with low cost and high speed transaction through off-chain scaling and integration, increasing transaction process and systems with multi-instruction methods, encoding optimization and parallel execution, Bitcoin together. So it just shows this particular platform is an extension of OXVM BTC model. So it just shows like a particular thread. It has a modular execution layer for Bitcoin. So I believe the Scribbles is a collection based on that extension of that game, and it's popular on that particular networking platform. So could be possible airdrops being able to give to the holders if you have participation in this game, if they get so much funding through this particular modular layer ecosystem and how they fund that particular game. It just could be a lot of monetization incentives being funded through this particular platform and onto that particular game. So it's just something that you want to particularly look into as far as all the latest complexities within these different solutions on how they interact within the Bitcoin network. So there's many different things, interpretation to Bitcoin, but it's exciting to see that there's many different layers and stuff that's being built on there. And that's just something to pay attention to and look for. Last but not least, just covering DSK. And looking at this particular mint, I would imagine the exclusivity of this particular mint and platform is what's going to be able to drive that particular value, and also just who's actually creating, who's behind. So you can see that Blue Yuga Labs Gaming Council ambassador over at hashtag AllDay DSK. So I imagine getting into that particular network and being able to have a small group of people and to be able to get access into, you could be able to leverage that in many different forms in terms of network, resources, influence, depending on who you're tied to. So people are really going for this particular mint. It's very popular. A lot of people are going for this particular mint and want to get access in that exclusive Discord because you could be able to leverage that in many particular processes. And then also just looking into the particular artwork. But that's one that I've seen a lot of people have been tweeting over. A lot of people are very interested and get into that exclusive environment where it's not accessible to most people. So that's also a way in meta in terms of all these different blockchains offering exclusive rights or exclusive access into their particular ecosystems, depending on that individual's network and brand just going in that particular space and who that person has ties to. That can be a form of utility in itself. So just looking into that ties, so I imagine just being able to get access to that particular network, like I said again, could just be all worth even going for that particular mint. You could just see a lot of people be retweeting, just saying they want to get into DSK AllDay DSK. You just see tweets, people tweeting about the free mint that's going to be up and coming. So just make sure you just stay tuned for all those. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that plays out, who will actually get access. I know people that's actually going for this particular mint as far as just going for this. So it'll be interesting, people actually going for this particular mint. Elements is going for the holders and everything that's going on in the future. But those are just covering some upcoming mints along with everything else for the rest of this video. But that's definitely a wrap up for the day, guys. Just covering everything, the latest greatest going on within the Web3 ecosystem as far as new technologies, NFTs, upcoming mints, webs, and updates. So just make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, make sure you share the video. Stay tuned for all the information I'm gonna drop, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.